Hidden volcanic magma pools pose eruption risks that we cannot yet detect. This is what geologists from Geological Society of America are telling us. Boulder, Colorado, USA volcanologists' ability to estimate eruption risks is largely reliant on the knowing where pools of magma are stored deep in the Earth's crust. But what happens if the magma cannot be spotted? One example is, of course, the recent volcanic eruption of the underwater volcano of Tonga. Shane Rujakars, a postdoctoral scholar at GNS Science in New Zealand, grew up in the shadow of Mount Taranaki on the North Country's North Island, and that's where the Tapo supervolcano is located. He hikes on the island's many volcanoes, and today his research is revealing hidden dangers that may have been beneath his feet all along. A new study published in Geology recently explores a threat volcanologists discovered only recently: surprisingly shallow magma pools that are too small to be detected with common volcano monitoring equipment. Such a magma body was discovered in Iceland back in 2009, when scientists with the Iceland Deep Drilling Project accidentally drilled directly into the molten rock, just 2 kilometers shallower than the depths where magma had been detected before. Now, can you imagine them drilling into Yellowstone, which is one of NASA's projects, $3.5 billion worth of trying to cool down Yellowstone so they could mitigate the eruption? What happens if they drill into the magma chamber? Now, this one here, they drilled into Iceland's magma chamber. Magma began to creep up the drill hole. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. So you see what they did. They drilled accidentally into the magma chamber, and magma began to creep up the drill hole. Researchers reaching several meters, several yards before it was stopped with cool drilling fluids. The study adds a critical piece of information to the puzzle by linking the hidden magma to a centuries-old eruption. Rujakars, who is the lead author of the study and completed the work while at McGill University in Montreal, Canada, compared the composition of the quenched magma, which had formed smooth volcanic glass, with the rocks from an eruption from that same volcano, Krafla, in the year 1724. Before his study, scientists thought the shallow magma they drilled into had been emplaced after a series of eruptions in the 1980s. No one expected the hidden magma to be related to the 1724 eruption. So what Rujakars found was a surprise. He said, when we looked at the compositions from 1724, we found an almost perfect match for what was sampled during the drilling, Rujakars said. That suggests that actually this magma body has been there since 1724 and has previously been involved in an eruption at Krafla. So that raises the question of, why did geophysics not pick this up? The answer is size. Most magma detection relies on seismic imaging, like oil companies use to detect reservoir deep under the seafloor. When there's an earthquake, the instruments detect how long it takes for sound waves to travel through the crust. Depending on the density of the rocks, the sound waves return at different times. So if there's water, oil, or magma stored underground, the sound waves would reflect it. But these hidden magma chambers are too small for these instruments, as well as other detection tools, to find them. He said, in traditional approaches to volcano monitoring, a lot of emphasis is placed on knowing where magma is and which magma bodies are active. Krafla is one of the most intensely monitored and instrumented volcanoes in the world. They've thrown everything but the kitchen sink at it in terms of geophysics. And yet we still didn't know there was this rhyolitic magma body sitting only 2 kilometers depth that's capable of producing a hazardous eruption. Studies like Rujakars suggest that smaller, more widely distributed magma bodies might be more common than previously thought, challenging the conventional view that most eruptions are fed from larger and deeper magma chambers that can be reliably detected. Beyond not being able to monitor magmatic activity, planning for eruptions and estimating risks becomes more difficult if scientists suspect that hidden magma bodies could be present. For example, the Krafla volcano is usually dominated by basalt, a type of magma that tends to erupt passively, like the recent eruption in Fagradalsfjall in Iceland, rather than in an explosion. But the hidden magma body in Krafla is made of rhyolite, a magma type that can often create violent explosions when it erupts. Rujakars said, so the concern is, in this case, would be that you have to have a shallow rhyolitic magma that you don't know about, so it has not been considered in hazards planning. If it's hit by new magma moving up, you might have a much more explosive eruption than you were anticipating, he says. The volcanologist became aware of the hazards associated with these shallow, distributed magma systems. They can work on improving monitoring, trying to capture these hidden magma pools. Covering a volcanic area and more detectors may be costly, but by improving the resolution of magma imaging, scientists may have a community or company far more than the cost of the study. They may save a community or company. The risks vary from volcano to volcano, but in general, as we learn more about these magma systems, scientists concerned with estimating hazards can be aware of the possibility of hidden magma. And despite the risks he's uncovering, will Rujakars still live around volcanoes? He says with a laugh, oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a risk with anything, isn't there? So this is by Geophysical Society of America on phys.org, so you can understand that we still don't know that much about volcanoes, especially the shallow magma bodies, as they've recently drilled into in Iceland. They had to cool it down. Thank goodness that worked. Otherwise, it would have been an explosive eruption, one more in Iceland. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support.